I'd like to introduce at this time, because it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for tonight's graduation. As our state senator for District 30, encompassing most of Buxton, Scarborough, and Olive Gorham. The state senator has been a champion of workforce development and business growth for the entire state of Maine. Currently, a member of the Governor's State Workforce Investment Board, as well as the Labor, Commerce, Research, and Economic Development Committee. She's currently the lead minority member of that committee, which oversees both the Department of Labor and the Department of Economic and Community Development. We're very pleased to welcome a friend to business and one who has been very supportive of NTI and the training programs we celebrate tonight with our graduates. It is our honor to introduce to you tonight Senator Amy Volk. Please join me in providing an NTI welcome.
Thank you, Bob, for that kind introduction. You're kind of a tough act to follow, so I appreciate that as well. And thank you to Jeff Burbine for inviting me to speak to you this evening. This is really a rare honor for me to get to speak to this many people at one time and on such a wonderful achievement. Who doesn't love graduations? I love graduations. Every graduation marks the end of a phase in life, an achievement to be proud of, and a new beginning. So many emotions wrapped up into one event, and I think that that's why we all really love them. What's not to celebrate, honestly? So congratulations to all of you, the new CDL drivers, the medical assistants, the medical office assistants, the coders and billers, phlebotomists, network administrators, HVAC, and manufacturing technicians. You should be very, very proud of yourselves for overcoming the obstacles that were in your way and accomplishing your goals. So great job, well done. And to the families and friends of those graduating and earning their career diplomas and certifications, congratulations to you. Each of you, I am sure, played a role in your graduates' success. Know and be proud that your support has made an enormous impact. In my professional life as Senate Chair of the Labor, Commerce, Research, and Economic Development Committee, and as a member of the State Workforce Board, as well as in my personal life, married to an owner of a manufacturing business that supplies manufacturers in northern New England, I am all too familiar with the challenges that Maine employers face in trying to hire workers who can not only read, measure, do math, and use a computer, but who will show up healthy and on time, ready to work, communicate effectively with their coworkers, and be safe on the job. We're actually fortunate to be living in a period of economic growth right now. Wages are on the rise, and manufacturers, as well as many other industries, are thankfully returning to the United States. Maine needs to be ready with a trained and willing workforce. All the pro-business policies in the world, whipped up in Augusta, and believe me, that's a little bit harder than it sounds, will not convince companies to expand or locate here if we do not have good workers for them to hire. Our hospitals and our medical practices, obviously critical to a healthy state, cannot function without medical assistants, phlebotomists, medical coders, and billers. So you folks are where the rubber meets the road, sometimes, quite literally, with the CDL drivers. That was a joke. So let me tell you a story. It's not meant to disparage educators in any way. It's not an easy job. But it is meant to illustrate a point which I will get to eventually, so just stick with me. Our youngest child is a rather distracted student. So full confession, I was the same way. Probably could have been diagnosed with ADHD back in the day if they were doing that sort of diagnosis back in the time when I was growing up and going to school. And my daughter probably could be diagnosed and medicated if we wanted her to be. Anyway, she's a social girl. So we were at our parent-teacher conference in first grade, and the teacher, whom we know really well because she had had two of our older kids in her classes as well, told us about how our daughter got distracted all the time in class, and she often had to move her to a table in the back of the room that was facing a wall. So I looked around at the classroom and I see all these desks, and they're grouped in groups of 4, and the chairs are on the outside, so the kids are clearly all sitting facing each other. Now, I don't know about all of you. A lot of you are younger than I am, probably a lot of the graduates. But when I was going to school, we sat in rows where we were facing each other's backs, except for the lucky few of us who were told or knew that we needed to sit in front where the teacher could give us the eye, and we were, guess what? Less distracted. So, being the impulsive person that I can sometimes be, I had to ask, why are these tables grouped this way? And the kids are all facing each other. It looks to me like it's a recipe for distraction. This is first grade. Well, the teacher was rather taken aback, and I'll never forget her exasperated response. Well, business people have told us, and I think she means by us, educators in general, that they need people to be able to work together. I almost laughed, because we're talking about first graders here. I think parents would be happy to have their kids learn to read, spell, add, and subtract in first grade. Working together is certainly important, but that can happen on the playground in the later grades once everyone has mastered the basic building blocks of learning. So I promised I would make a point with this little story. And with all due respect to our public schools, they have sometimes taken admonitions and recommendations from the business community and government leaders like myself a bit too literally. Another example is the push toward higher education. In the late 80s and 90s, when I was going to college, a lot of research began surfacing that showed the economic benefits of higher education. Suddenly, every single student was expected to make a plan for college. But strangely, no one helped us decide what to study. They just said, just get a degree in anything that you're interested in. A good plan for success? Not if you're studying human development, as I did, and you're taking out loans to do it, which fortunately I did not have to do. What does a bachelor's in human development prepare one for a career doing? Good question. I've never figured that one out. Some might say it was good preparation for raising 4 children and eventually becoming a state senator, and I suppose maybe that was the case. But I always thought it might have been a good basis for grad school if I had wanted to go. In any matter, it really didn't lead to anything. So here's my point. Most, if not all of you, for whatever reason, did not attend a traditional college. Congratulations. Hopefully that means that you don't have tens of thousands of dollars of student loans to pay back. However, you have all made an excellent choice to pursue training in a high-demand field, one in which you know you will be able to get a job if you haven't already, and make good money, hopefully with health insurance and a 401k. Some of you in this room are exhausted because you've been working full-time while pursuing your educational goals. Life has been a challenge, maybe for as long as you can remember. Some of you have overcome barriers that many of us underestimate. If you struggled in school, anxiety about being successful in any educational program is often a barrier. Paying for training or higher education can obviously be a barrier. If you have children, finding trustworthy, affordable childcare is a barrier. I recently got appointed to a council and a commission in order to ensure that families have better access in Maine to safe, flexible, and affordable childcare. Not just because I'm passionate about kids, but because it's critical to our workforce. Transportation in a rural state like Maine can also be a major barrier to both work and education. Chelsea Pinkham was working at Lowe's when she started her medical assistant program at MTI. Her fiance had just been in a horrible car accident and could no longer work. On top of that, Chelsea's car kept breaking down. There's that transportation barrier. But she continuously made the commitment to excel in class, attend every day at NTI despite her many obstacles. When Chelsea graduated, she had 3 job offers and ended up taking a position at Maine Orthopedics. When Harvey Anton applied to NTI, he was supporting his family, including 3 young children, while working as a chef at Macaroni Grill. Harvey did not have the opportunity to graduate from high school, and there were also financial barriers preventing him from attending his training at NTI. Harvey worked diligently to earn his GED and was eventually able to put a plan in place to pay for school. Harvey overcame all the barriers. His motivation was to provide for his family and give them a better life. While in school, he was a superb student, great attendance, positive work attitude, and a hard worker. Upon graduating, he was immediately hired at Charlie Burnham HVAC Services, earning great pay with benefits. And he loves what he does. I'm guessing he also sees more of his family now that he's not working restaurant hours. In addition to the salt of the earth, native Mainers, we have a number of new Mainers here. I've been an outspoken advocate since before I was ever elected to a public office for asylees and refugees in Maine. Not only because we have not had enough babies in this state, although I did my part in that 4, but because I love their values and their work ethic. The United States was built by immigrants, many of whom were able to hold on to their culture while embracing the American dream and the economic and political freedom that comes with that. Recently, I was meeting with an asylee from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Our conversation drifted to politics, and I wondered with some anxiety what he might say. But to my surprise, he simply marveled that despite separation from his family, who are still living in a refugee camp in Uganda, he feels blessed to live in a country where people are allowed not only to criticize the president, the governor, and any elected official, including myself, but they do so freely and without fear of any sort. As many of you know too well, in much of the world, that is not the case. Those who speak out against government officials can face very harsh consequences. One of NTI's manufacturing technician graduates, Sam Caking, is also from the Congo. Although I do not know what forced him to leave his country, I do know that he came to the U.S. in 2016, but was unable to work despite a degree in engineering. Sam attended NTI's manufacturing program and had 4 job offers before graduating. He chose ON Semiconductor as a maintenance technician. Sam is installing, troubleshooting, and maintaining multi-million-dollar equipment with lots of room for growth. Sam's American dreams are coming true because he received amazing hands-on training from NTI. NTI graduates are hardworking. They're dedicated to their families. They've lived in the real world, taken stock, and decided to make a commitment to improve their lives in a very concrete way. They're not taking out loans and studying sociology, as interesting as that may be. Don't get me wrong, traditional college is a wonderful experience for many, and 2 out of 3 of my children have chosen that path so far. But students that graduate from NTI are seeking something very different, hands-on training that offers a direct transition into a new career. This graduation shows us how capable these graduates are of overcoming obstacles and accomplishing their goals. State Legislatures Magazine's November issue lists the top 10 skills needed in the workplace. They include critical thinking, creativity, coordinating with others, good judgment and decision-making, and cognitive flexibility. My guess is that every one of the graduates in this room had to use those skills in order to achieve their dreams and graduate today. Today we recognize your personal accomplishments as well as the courage you've shown to embrace self-improvement through job training. But it won't end here. A 2016 Pew Research Center survey found that 80% of workers agreed it would be essential for them to get training and develop new skills throughout their careers in order to keep up with changes in the workplace. As you continue in your professional lives, accept each new challenge with confidence, knowing that not only are you equipped with necessary tools to succeed, but you have already taken the biggest step in choosing training at Northeast Technical Institute. We need hundreds of Sams and Chelseas and Harveys here in Maine. We need you working, we need you raising families, we need you as active and engaged voters and community members, and we need you as ambassadors. Encourage others by sharing your stories and spreading the word. Yes, it is hard. Change is hard. Going back to school is hard. Going back to school while still working full-time is really hard. But sometimes it's what you have to do, and it can be done. You are proof. Improving one's lot in life doesn't have to mean taking years to achieve a bachelor's degree. Intense training that improves employability and earning power can be completed in just a few months. My roots in the state of Maine go back many generations on both sides of my family. I've lived here all my life, and our family business employs nearly 100 Mainers. They're like family to us. I want the same things for you that you want: peace, prosperity, and equality of opportunity. I wish each and every one of you the best in your career and family lives. Not only that, but I want to hear from you. What's going well? What's not? What unnecessary barriers can we move for people or for businesses? I can't promise to single-handedly change government. No one can. But I can promise to listen, and you are the future of our beautiful state. Each of you has an important story to tell. Don't be afraid to share it. So work hard, play hard, be proud of your accomplishments, celebrate. Be fearless in your goals and shameless in your storytelling. God bless every one of you.